Hello everyone. I greet you all regardless of what you are, who you are, where you are, and what you are not. This message is continuous but cut into 4 parts, so we will not do it like it is in different sessions. Um, it will just flow like that. You can easily follow this message, I bet you. Provided you made your mind receptive, you can play it on this page or take the best option of downloading, then play it in a sequential playlist at your own time. I'm not a rabbi, preacher, prophet, apostle, or whatsoever related to those, but I felt interested in sharing this message with you and others in you. The message is about perfection and imperfection of God and the prophets. We will cover some elements including of Appolyon, creator, preserver, and destroyer, regardless of their sources of powers. Some prophets and apostles have the spirit of creating, preserving, and destroying. If God exists, he creates, preserves, and destroys what he consecrates for that likewise. Prophets operate with spiritual current charged with some levels of currency, oscillating in the spiritual dimensions, encrypted with the powers of their sources. But are the prophets and God perfect? The answer is a big no. Assuming the scriptures to be true, the reason is that a man is made in likeness of the spirits as depicted in the book of Genesis. In Berean Bible, in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 18 to 28, we learn that God's wickedness is stronger than men's strength, and God's foolishness is wiser than men's wisdom. We also learn that the apostles became wiser after their calling. Why did the spirits in Genesis chapter 1 verse 2 and Genesis chapter 1 verse 26 plan a man but mortalize the man? Why did God design a man equal, similar with God, yet the implementation lacked super wisdom in the book of Genesis? Is it because the spirit of error is as seen in the book of John chapter 8 verse 32 also contributed in design and creation? Is it because every spirit will come at its time in creation, preservation, and destruction of the man? Spirit of error led the man, that is Adam and Eve, to err. Every spirit comes at its time. In Romans chapter 8 verse 20 to 21, according to NLT, it is said, against its will, all creation was subjected to God's cares. This is despite whatever you do to please the Spirit. Paul says that every person is subject to error or sin, but the relations with the Spirit make one free. Can apostles and prophets make errors? Yes, but their errors are better than the highest level of ordinary people. Jesus was also accused of some things, like any messengers has the Halila, such as Prophet Muhammad, John, Paul, Apolyon, and others, so that no one can be bold or perfectly bold. Think of any messenger, you will realize their mistakes. Jonas, John, Moses, Elijah, among others, they are just listed here as examples. Shandi, Shinji. Are prophets perfect? No. But their imperfections are less than the fullest standard of simple people. The spirits were many and are many. They can be summarily categorized in Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, for they create, preserve, and destroy in one way or another, so that no one can be so proud in immortality and perfection. According to Revelation chapter 9, verse 11, the spirit of Abaddon, or Apolyon, or destroyer, or abyss, as it is shown there, you pardon, we realize that Apolyon is a spirit of error, and it is there. There are a lot of spirits shown in recorded documents or videos, but there are possibly other errors, other spirits too. Apolyon is like Apollos, though which will Apolyon is like Apollos, though will not prove whether the spirit of Apollyon mentioned in Revelation is the same as of Apostle Apollos in Acts chapter 18 verse 24 to 27 and Acts chapter 19 verse 1 to 2. As we realize that Apollos was recruited into the gospel of Jesus, while at first he was preaching the coming of the Messiah seen in Acts chapter 9. Apollos was an eloquent elite with astounding attributes. Can we deduce, induct, and or infer that the messages warning people about the spirit of Appolyon was of factionalism in the Revelation. We realize in First Corinthians chapter 1 verse 10 to 17 and First Corinthians chapter 14 verse 18 that Paul sarcastically and indirectly opposes Apollos, as he says that he preaches not with wisdom and eloquence, which we realize is the power of Apollos. However, Paul acknowledges that he speaks with spiritual tongues than any other apostle, so he thanks God for that. However, Paul strongly influences people to follow Jesus. The factionalism is addressed by Jesus too in the book of Mark, chapter 9, verse 38 to 41. Why was the church divided over Paul, Cephas, Apollos, and Jesus? Were they referring to Apollos as the same friend of Paul? That is in the book of Revelation. There is another Apollos, an ancient god that was known before Jesus' times. According to the sources on www.thei.com, we realize that Apollos was Delios because he was born in Delos or Delo. Apollon or Apollo was the Olympian god of prophecy and oracles, music, songs, poetry, archery, healing, plagues, diseases, and the protection of the young. What we learn is that there are a lot of things in the atmosphere, in the spirit realm,